Hey you guys, so in this video I'm going to be showing you how to draw butterflies. This was only my second time drawing butterflies, so I was super nervous to do it, but I practiced before she came because I just knew this is what she was going to want. So I went ahead and practiced, and I kind of got the idea of what I was going to do. So you can see here I'm just drawing the outline of the body first. And so I'm just basically imagining what I want the butterfly to look like, and then I'm going to come in and do the outline. And I kind of had difficulties in this video because I was using a regular black polish instead of just gel because I didn't have any with me at the time. So it was just kind of hard for the two to work together, but I made it work. For the body, I am using a regular blue polish that I got from Markartt. And I really like their line of polishes that they have because it's a very different variety of colors and they're really pretty. And if you ever feel like you made a mistake, you can just dip your brush in acetone, then go ahead and wipe off whatever you think is messed up. And here I'm just curing the nail for 60 seconds just so that I can go over it with the black polish. Okay, so now I'm just going to start outlining the butterfly. So I usually start at the corners and then just, trace around the inside of the butterfly that I made. It's really simple, and you can see I keep having to get new polish or rinse off my brush and get more polish since it is regular polish. It just made me waste so much time. And the reason I'm doing this is basically because I didn't have any more regular gel polish. So I just had to use black regular polish. Anyway, so I will say whenever you get to the ends, at first just kind of make them rounded, and then you can go in and add your little tails, how I'm doing here. Just add the little bitty I wouldn't say it's a tail, it's a little flick, just to make it look more realistic. And you'll see in a minute I make this part thick just to give it a little bit more character, I guess. And I was also going off of a Sean Legend picture that my client showed me, and obviously it didn't look exactly like his butterflies because he makes them look so good, but I was trying my best and I think they came out pretty good. So you can see I'm going in the middle. On this butterfly, we didn't draw too many veins on the inside because on the picture he just had 3 little veins on there. So that's what we did for this one. But on the next one, I drew a lot of veins on it. And you can see that I go back in and I take some of them off because I was okay, this is a little bit too much. But you can see in a second, I'm going to go in. I'm going to go over this one more time, try to make it a little bit thicker. And then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to draw the little vein part on the inside. So you can see here I was having trouble getting the color to show up as much as I wanted, so I'd have to keep going back over it. And again, this is happening because I'm using the regular black polish instead of gel polish. And right here you can see I didn't really like how that little flick at the end of the wing was going up. I kind of wanted it to go back instead of up. So I just made that little flick go the other way just to make it just look better to me. If I could go back in time, I would make this wing more rounded at the top rather than straight down. But I mean, it still looked good in the end, but that's something just looking at it now I would have fixed. And next, I think I'm going to go in and draw the body. Usually I would draw the body before I start drawing the veins, but this time I just went backwards because I had already did the other hand, and I was kind of feeling a little bit more confident whenever I got to this hand, but it was still taking me a long time because of the black polish. So you can see I'm just drawing the line down. So the little advice I would give about drawing the body is definitely make the wings end before the head comes out, if that makes sense. So you can see like I'm trying to draw the head right here, and you can see the wings don't go all the way towards the head. Like make the head come out of the wings, because I found whenever I was practicing before she came that whenever I didn't make the wings in before the head came out, it looked weird. Okay, so that's basically all I'm going to do for this butterfly. Right now I'm just going in with a little bit of acetone, and I was like taking off some of the regular polish I didn't want there. But for the next nail, you can see I'm just again drawing the inside of the body first, and I'm kind of just freehanding it and just imagining what I want the butterfly to look like. And like I said before, I had already did the other hand, so it was getting a little bit easier to me, but I did the same exact thing on this hand that I did on the other hand. I would definitely say don't think about it too much, because I find that whenever I'm doing free-handed stuff, and I don't do free-handed drawings a lot, but whenever I do, I kind of overthink it, and it just makes me spend so much extra time that really I didn't have to, because it's like I'll make one little bitty minor mistake and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go fix that, and then whenever I try to fix it, it's like I ruined something else on the nail. Then I have to fix two things instead of one thing. So really, whenever you make a little mistake, like don't think about it too much, just keep going. And whenever you like see it and it's still like, if you keep going and you see like it's making like a major difference and it's making the drawing look ugly, then obviously fix it. But like earlier on the last butterfly, I made like a little flick of black on the blue, on the inside of the blue, but I kind of just didn't erase it. I kind of just kept going because I knew I was going to make the wing thicker on the bottom, so it kind of just blended in. So for this butterfly, I'm basically just repeating the process. I went at the top and kind of took off some of the black that was up there because it just made this awkward shape that I didn't like. So now I'm just outlining the wings. I'm going to do that for the rest of the body, just outline it. And you can see I kind of go in like a circular shape, but then in a second I'm going to make the wings come down and make that little flick again. I don't really know what you call it, but I'm just going to be calling it a little flick. I'm doing the same thing right here. And now I'm going to come in and make the bottoms a little bit thicker. And then once I make the bottoms a little bit thicker, that's whenever I'll come in and kind of make that little flick at the bottom. So now I'm gonna start drawing the body, and again, it's super simple. It's basically you're just drawing a black line down the middle. I will say, like, kind of towards the end, kind of make like a little bitty flick just to make it look like it's a little body, you know, coming out of the butterfly. And then on this one, I kind of didn't take my own advice and stop the wings before the head comes out. So I tried to make them go in, and then you'll see in a second I try to make the head come a little bit out, but it kind of ran in with the black line from the body outline. So I came back in with my acetone, and I kind of just, you know, erased a little bit of the black that was stuck together just to make it look like there was actually a head there. So now you can see, like, you can see the head is there more than you could before just by taking off that little bit of black in between. And now I'm going in to make the wings. I mean, not the wings, the antennas. So for the antennas, whenever I was practicing before she came, I couldn't make them super skinny. And I think that's because I was using regular polish and it was just drying up too quick for me. But I ended up working out in the end. So I would just say draw them very lightly and have a just be very light-handed. And then once you get the really skinny antenna, just draw like 2 little dots at the end of them to make them look, more like antennas and not just 2 random lines there. So here, usually what I can say is whenever you make the wing, the first wing that I would make, I would kind of make it curve in, because that's whenever I would go in and draw the vein that would connect to the body. On this butterfly, I drew way too many veins, and I noticed that towards the end, so I try to go in and erase some of them with my acetone. Whenever you go in and erase things with your acetone, make sure you don't have too much acetone on your brush. I'm sure there's an easier way maybe to do it, but this is just the way that I do it. If you have a better way of doing it, then do it that way. If it works better for you, then do it whichever way you want. But this is just the way that I do it. So, like I said before, I was having a little bit of trouble getting the black to show up on the gel, because since it was gel and regular polish, it wasn't really mixing that well, but I made it work. It was just taking me a little bit of extra time. But my client, she knew that this was my first time drawing butterflies, so we kind of knew that it was going to take a while, and we didn't really care that much. So you can just see whenever I draw the veins, I'm basically just drawing lines everywhere. Like, it's not really anything like in particular. And you can see right here, like I drew that line, and then whenever I try to go back over it, it kind of just like disappeared, and that's because it just like crumbled back up together since I was using regular polish. But anyways, I'm showing you guys, like, it's difficult to work with gel and regular polish together. So if you have gel black polish, use that because this was not the ideal mixture. Anyway, so whenever I'm drawing the veins, I just go in and draw random lines. And some of the lines, like, they came out a little bit thicker than I wanted, but that's okay. I just kept going, and then I would just go in and fix it after. So I would draw like 1 big line in the middle, and then I would draw like 3 or 2 black lines coming from those and just connecting to the rest of the body. It's really simple. At first, whenever I was practicing before she came, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. Like, I don't know if I can do this. And my first practice butterflies, they came out pretty good, but these came out better, but obviously they're not perfect. But I think the more that you just do it in practice, it'll come out better and better. Just if you have a client that comes in and you know they're going to want butterflies, just watch this video, watch a different video on YouTube, and see how people do it, and you'll get the hang of it. It wasn't hard at all, because this was only my second time doing it. So it's really simple. If you have the regular gel polish if you have gel polish for the outline of the body, I think it'll be so much easier as well, because you'll be able to do everything in one motion. And whenever you're working with regular polish, you can't really do everything in one motion because it'll start to dry up, and you also don't want it to clump up, because then it's going to start looking ugly. So you can see here, I was just going in and erasing some of the lines, because I noticed, okay, like this looks like too many lines. I wanted more of the blue to show. So I was just going in and kind of just getting some acetone, and the way like I erase it is just, you'll see like I just kind of stroke up and down, up and down, up and down until like it starts disappearing. And since this is regular black polish, it'll sometimes leave like a stain of black, so you want to make sure you can remove that too. Also, whenever you do the outline of the body, be mindful of that it might leave a little stain of black, so you want to make sure to just go in and erase that, because whenever you put the top coat on, you'll be able to see where that little stain is. Here I'm just going in at the top of each wing, or at the corner of each wing, and I'm just putting little bitty dots, white dots, on the ends of them. And for this I was using regular white polish too. Sometimes it's easier to do things with regular polish, and then sometimes it's not. So I did the little white dots on every single butterfly, and it just makes it look like just a little bit better. I don't know, it just gives it that little, extra touch. So whenever you work with regular polish, you definitely want to wait for it all to dry first. And since we did like very, very, very thin lines of black, as soon as I was done with the other nail, the nail that I did before that one was dry, so I didn't really have too much waiting time for this set. But that's why you kind of want to get gel polish whenever you're doing, hand-drawn things, just so that you can cure them and you can move a little bit faster. But, I mean, if you can't, then, just wait for it to dry, and it'll take maybe, I don't know. Unless you're doing something super thick, you can, expect it to dry, within 5 or 10 minutes. It really doesn't take that long. But this is a finished product, and I really hope you guys like this. If you want to see more videos like this, please let me know down below, and I will be sure to do those for you guys.